In a forgotten village surrounded by dense forests, there lived a young boy named Kian. His world was small but filled with wonder, rolling hills, whispering trees, and a river that sparkled like liquid silver. But what made Kian's heart soar was the ancient oak tree at the edge of the forest. Its branches stretched toward the sky like arms reaching for the stars, and its trunk bore carvings of names and dates, a testament to generations of villagers who had come before. Kian's grandmother, Nana, often told him stories about the oak tree. She called it the Whispering Oak, claiming it held the memories of the village. If you listen closely, she would say, you can hear the voices of those who came before us, their laughter, their sorrows, their dreams. Kian would sit beneath the tree for hours, pressing his ear to its bark, hoping to hear something. But all he ever heard was the rustling of leaves. One summer evening, Nana fell ill. The village healer said it was her time, and Kian's heart broke. He couldn't imagine life without her. On her final night, Nana called him to her bedside. Her voice was weak, but her eyes sparkled with the same warmth they always had. Kian, she whispered, when I'm gone, go to the Whispering Oak. Tell it your stories, your fears, your dreams. It will listen, just as I always have. The next morning, Nana was gone. Kian felt as though the world had lost its color. He wandered to the oak tree, tears streaming down his face. He pressed his hand against the rough bark and whispered, Nana, I miss you. For a moment, there was silence. Then faintly, he heard it, a soft, melodic hum, like a lullaby. It was Nana's voice. Over the weeks that followed, Kian visited the tree every day. He told it about his day, his dreams of exploring the world beyond the village, and his fears of being alone. Each time he would hear Nana's voice, comforting and guiding him. The villagers noticed the change in him. Where once he had been quiet and reserved, he now carried himself with a quiet confidence, as though Nana's spirit walked beside him. One day a storm swept through the village. The winds howled and the rain fell in sheets. Kian watched in horror as lightning struck the Whispering Oak, splitting its trunk in two. The villagers gathered around the tree, their faces etched with grief. For them, it was more than just a tree. It was a symbol of their history, their connection to the past. Kian knelt beside the fallen oak, his heart heavy. He placed his hand on the charred bark and whispered, Nana, what do I do now? This time there was no answer. The tree was silent. Kian felt a pang of loneliness so sharp it took his breath away. He realized then that the tree had been his bridge to Nana, and without it, he felt truly alone. Days turned into weeks, and Kian struggled to find his footing. He avoided the forest, unable to bear the sight of the fallen oak. But one evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, he felt a strange pull toward the forest. He followed it, his footsteps hesitant, until he reached the clearing where the oak had once stood. To his astonishment, a small sapling had sprouted from the base of the fallen tree. Its leaves were a vibrant green, and its slender trunk stood tall and proud. Kian knelt beside it, his heart swelling with hope. He pressed his hand against the sapling and whispered, Nana, is that you? This time the answer came not as a voice, but as a feeling, a warmth that spread through his chest, filling him with a sense of peace. Kian smiled through his tears. He realized that the Whispering Oak had not truly died. Its spirit lived on in the sapling, just as Nana's spirit lived on in him. From that day on, Kian tended to the sapling with care. He told it his stories, his fears, and his dreams, just as he had with the old oak. And though he never heard Nana's voice again, he felt her presence in every rustle of the leaves, in every ray of sunlight that filtered through the forest canopy. Years later, the sapling grew into a mighty oak, its branches stretching toward the sky like arms reaching for the stars. Kian, now a man, would sit beneath it with his own children, telling them the stories of the Whispering Oak and the grandmother who had taught him to listen to the whispers of the past.